Hello everyone, welcome to the Rewind Day 1. We're following the Slowercube and the action has already started. We didn't even see the first pack. We're following today Apsyy drafting the Slowercube. And today I am joined by fellow cube admin and the maker of my favorite cube of all time, Baspal. Hello Al.
Hello, how are you today?
I am very good. This is a fine summer morning for me and probably a winter afternoon for you. So we're on
Yeah.
the other side of the globe and we are cubing today. How do you like Slowercube?
Yes. Always a fan of Slowercube. I think it was the first cube I ever played on this Discord server, so always a fun one to go back to.
Yes, I agree. It was the first league. It was the first champs cube. It was everyone's kind of start in their cube career. So a fan favorite for sure. The draft has already started. We are following a 6-man draft of the Slowercube, of course. But today we have a difference from the usual drafts. We have a burn drafter. Can you explain what a burn drafter means for us, Al?
Right, so we cooked up this burn drafter this morning. Um, Basically, instead of drafting every card in the pack, the last 4 cards in each pack will basically be burnt. They'll be removed. No one will be able to draft those cards. And this is just because the cube's got 672 cards. So if you're drafting that with 6 players, you'd end up with 112 picks each, which is way too many, and the decks get a bit out of control. And it really takes away from the draft a bit. So this burn draft we've got going hopefully makes each pick more important.
Yeah, I never personally I never played a burn drafter, but we have some people that played the Gen 7 All Stars cube in a recent regional with the burn rules, and they said it was really good. So I trust them. I trust their judgment, and we're doing this now. 2 pods of 6. We're gonna have 3 games, 3 best of 3s. And about the draft itself, we see that Apsyy started with Armaldo EX from Legend Maker, and then got a camera up EX from Emerald. Those are 2 like pretty bulky attackers. Armaldo EX was a recent addition to this cube. Now he's became the Team Magnus camera up, a classic energy acceleration engine. You accelerate to camera up to itself, and then you gotta move it somehow between your Pokemon, but he already has 2 camera ups. So what do you think
Yeah.
about the draft this for now?
It's definitely a great start from the Pokemon lineup. Acceleration's pretty hard to come by in this cube, so getting out on a stage 1, Team Magnus camera up is great, and he's already got the camera up EX, which is a great partner.
Yeah, I really like camera up EX. Like, I think that card is very underrated. The card just 3-0'd my cube this week. 3 for 80 if you can set up the top of your deck. If you eruption, the deck is discard the top of each player's deck. For each energy card, you do 20 extra damage, and you do 3 for 60 base. The card is pretty tanky by itself. Has a pretty annoying poke body. You can be asleep or paralyzed. So it's like a pretty decent attacker. If you get a Holland Pokemon, you can pretty much play it in any deck. And there's a lot of Pokemon that want to set up the top of the deck in this cube. That is one of them. So if you get a lot of those synergies, the camera up EX can be pretty good. About the first pack that we saw, it was really fast, but I remember seeing your Molder EX. There was a Holland Fossil right by it. So if the Holland Fossil wheels, that's a very good sign for Apsyy. And there was also a Delcatty, the Platinum Delcatty, which maybe would have been my first pick, because
Yes,
that card is stupid good.
that is my favorite card in this cube,
Really?
the Platinum Delcatty. It's such an efficient attacker. It can stack energy on top of your deck, which, funnily enough, would go really well with the camera up DX.
True, yeah.
But from like a resource perspective, you just don't run out of energy, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you can also do silly things like having a Mew EX, copying the Delcatty's attacks.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
And it would get very silly when you had things like Eviolite on that as well. But Eviolite's gone now. We don't have to worry about that.
Oh, God, yeah. But still, that card is such a good, like, mix of supporting and attacking threat. And it's even colorless, so it literally goes in any deck, but it seems like Apsyy really likes the Armaldo EX here. Of course, this cube gives free react energy, so if you want to make your Armaldo EX dual type, you don't need to draft your react energies. Those are free. Now we're seeing a funny pack because it's quite weak. There's like a special charge, which is a good card, but remember, we're playing a burn draft, so that Anorith is not coming back. That Root Fossil is not coming back. So even if you see some of these like, oh, I might play this card, I might play that card. If you're planning on playing an Armaldo deck, and those are two cards that are not going to go into your deck, guaranteed, right? Because it's only until pick 4 that you get a wheel. Then after that, I'm pretty sure you don't get any cards from the pack. So the cards that FC are looking at here, they're not coming back. So I think it's a pretty disciplined pick to pick the Anorith, because there are other ways to play with fossils like Hollow Fossil, Strange Cave. But the Anoriths are necessary. Like, you can't play without them if you're planning on playing Armaldo.
Yes, the Anorith's a good pickup here. And this one from the Diamond and Pearl block, actually a reasonable attacker, I've found. 1 energy, 20, and you take 20 less next turn. Nothing to scoff at this power level.
Yeah, actually a pretty good attacker, you're right.
Although strong energy's gone now, so not as obnoxious as it once was, but happy to see that. And of course, fossils don't give up prizes in this cube.
Oh, true, that's true.
So I always find myself picking up fossils just to have as like Lily's Pokédolls, or there's a claw fossil. So yeah. Apsyy can go in a lot of directions here. Fossils, Camerupt, they even work well together.
Yeah, Camerupt is like a pretty techable card, so if you got any ways to move energy around, the Team Magma's Camerupt will for sure go into your deck. And Camerupt EX, with one Holland Pokemon, I think that card is already really good. It has a 2 colorless attack even, so I really like the card. It's kind of sad to pass Oranberry because Armaldo EX can be a really tanky attacker. The first attack is 2 energy, 40 damage, and you heal 20. If you're putting Oranberries and using potions in that thing, that card is going to tank for days. But it's kind of sad because like you can't really pass a Claw Fossil. And again, we're seeing some like maybe unpassable cards like Holland Fossil and Numel. There are like other playable cards in here. Like Stone's Project is not terrible. It's not a card you want to play, but Battle Frontier also pretty pickable here because you know someone already has that Delcatty. That card is never coming back. Is this the wheel? I think this is the wheel actually. Yeah, the Holland Fossil was in the first pack.
Yeah, this is the wheel. Opting for the fossil over the Numel, which I guess is reasonable, especially as there's 4 different fossil lines in this cube.
He's second guessing actually. He didn't.
He's second guessing. But Holland Fossil is a very good card. You can get turn 1 Anorith.
Yeah, Holland Fossil, like if you're playing a dedicated fossil deck, those cards get a lot of mileage. Holland Fossil, of course, it's flip coin. If heads, you put a fossil from your hand into your bench, and if tails, you search for... No, that's the opposite. If heads, you search your deck for a stage 1 fossil and put it direct into the bench. If tails, you put one from your hand. So, like, if you set up a very fossil-themed deck, you can make your Holland Fossils guarantee a stage 1 every time they're played. And we see that Apsyy is going straight for the Manorus and Holland Fossils, Claw Fossils. Yeah. He is going in that Armaldo.
Drafting on easy mode. This is not drafting the hard way. It's drafting the easy way where sometimes it just all lines up. You get your Armaldo, you get your fossils, you get your Anoriths, you get your Camerupts, and you get another Camerupt. We see the Chatot-G going by though. That's one of the few cards in the cube that can manipulate your opponent's top deck, which is always a funny synergy with the Camerupt DX.
True.
So you can do like 3 for 100 with Eruption, but I do think Anorith is the safer pick.
And let's not forget that the Armaldo Delta species, the part metal Armaldo, really wants to play a full fossil deck because the second attack you want to discard a fossil from your hand to do 50 damage to the active and 30 to the bench. And that might not seem like a lot of damage when you talk about it that way, but it is. 50-30 in this power level is crazy good. 30 damage snipe is usually an attack that I would be fine like just using 2 for 30 anywhere. But
Yeah.
that card does 50 to the active, 30 to the bench. It's so much pressure. And if you want to play that, you want to have a lot of claw fossils, hollow fossils, and serious fossils, whatever fossils you want.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to go hard on the fossils. But finally, we see a pack with no fossil. And this is kind of his first real trainer card, because all of the other trainers are either fossil basics or like fossil matter cards, and it's kind of a sad one. Lure ball, not great.
Not great, but recovery can be hard to come by, and just recovering your best attacker over and over again is always good. In this cube especially, there are definitely some line toppers that are significantly better than others. So if you can just play the good ones over and over, I think you're in a good spot. And we do see a claw fossil coming up as the last pick.
Yeah, remember, this is the burn drafter. If you see 5 cards in the pack, it is your last pick. All of these other 4 cards are going to go down and out, which is, I think, pretty... Apsyy is really happy to see Kyogre X and Desert Runes just going away. Ooh, but he goes for Electric. He does have a Manectric. We kind of ignored the Arceus Manectric in his pool, which has second bite. You just double the damage counters of your opponent's Pokemon. And I think the thought here is that, like, fossils are open. Like, it's quite obvious that no one else has an Armaldo, so it just goes for the other basic. And here is pack 2, pick 1.
Yes, so we see another Anorith here. I'll be surprised if that's the pick, given that Apsyy already has 2. There's some pretty good supporters here. Cynthia's Feelings is always good. TV Report is pretty average. And I think EXP shares what I would be eyeing up here, just because of how limited acceleration is in this cube. But Apsyy, again, opting for more Pokemon. Hariyama EX, which is a great attacker, to be fair.
Yeah, Hariyama EX is really good. It is one of the best stoppers in the cube. Being able to, like, just put a stadium into play, and if it's active, that stadium is not going away. Your opponent cannot play another stadium. So it just locks like a Curse Stone, or even something like a Strange Cave would be good to lock into the active. But yeah, you're right. This is a Slowercube. So when you see a Cynthia's Feelings, you're like, my supporter lineup is not going to be a lot better than that. So passing a supporter here is quite painful. The players are drafting 80 cards, right? So
yeah,
80 cards is still a lot of cards, but again, everyone who has played Slowercube has played some like 10 supporter decks where like 3 of your supporters are kind of not draw supporters, so some kind of bricky decks, and even then Apsyy goes for the attacker.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect this choice. Hariyama EX is a great attacker, and you only got 1 Armaldo so far, so it's always good to get your attackers sorted out early.
And we're also kind of working out to a pretty good Curse Stone deck, right? Because none of your Armaldos have Poke Powers. Only your Team Magma's Camerupt has a Poke Power. So, like, if you think you're going in that direction, you just don't play the other Camerupt. Just the EX is a big attacker. And Hariyama EX with Curse Stone is like a classic combo. It's in RSPK Cube. It's like on RSPK deck. So, and probably a really strong duo in this cube if I had to guess.
Yep, we'll definitely have to see if he can get the 1 copy of Curse Stone in the cube. Would be a great pickup. I think the Manectric as well also goes well with the Curse Stone. You just passively build up the damage counters. It's got a really efficient attack, and then it's got free retreat. So you retreat, and then it's a really good Pokemon, actually.
Mm-hmm. And here's pack 2, pick 3. It's a really good pack. As a Professor's Research, a card that, as we talked about, supporters are not great in here, so Professor's Research is a premium pick for anyone in this cube. But there's also Pokemon Retriever, a very, very good recovery card. Pokemon's Breeder Nurturing. Involves 2 of your Pokemon, an amazing supporter, and Parallel City, one of the best disruption cards in the game right here, right now. But that Professor's Research is just one of the best cards in the cube by far. It would be crazy to pass it, in my opinion. I hope that the person before Apsyy had a really good pick, because they passed a research. It might have been like a Lapras or a Uxie, maybe even like a ball search if they were after some ball search cards. And we're passing the packs again. This is interesting. This pack has a few cards that you would play, like Holland Voltorb, Seeker, Rainbow Energy. You would probably play those cards anywhere. But it has some decent cards for Apsyy specifically. It has Fossil Excavator. Can get a Fossil or any Fossil Evolving Mon from the discard or the deck. It's a super flexible card. And I'm pretty sure there are multiple Fossil Excavators in this cube. Maybe one, maybe two. And there's also Kabutops, which is a pretty decent attacker if you have a Almanite or Omastar in play. It tanks 20 every time it gets hit, but it seems that Apsyy is really worried about his basics because he goes for Nummel, and he has no Nummels and 2 Camera Up, so it makes sense to go for the Nummel because he already saw one and it got burned. So it seems like he already has the idea of the deck in mind. It's going to be a Fossil / Camera Up deck. Maybe you can move energy with something else that he picks down the line. And yeah, we're seeing a pick 3 Nummo here, and he immediately gets past another Nummo, but this pack is so much better. It has a Holland's Electrode. Holland's Pokemon are just so good in Cube, but also has a Heavy Ball, and this deck is full of heavy guys. I would be shocked if the Armaldo EX has less than 3 retreats, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that Apsyy was looking at his Pokemon being like, oh, I think that the Heavy Ball is just like a evolution instance for me. Just gets my stage 2s and stage 1s. So he goes for it. Maybe he can even get the Hariyama EX. I think that one might be 2 retreat, but Heavy Ball's still really good in this deck. Kind of sad to pass the Holland's Electrode because Holland's Pokemon are always so good. This is for now, this is still like a 2-type deck, so not 100% necessary. It's still an amazing card. And the rest of the pack is like fine. There's a Nummel, there's no Anorith or no Claw Fossil, which is a good thing. Regicx is kind of an annoying attacker depending on your deck. Celebi Prime is not a 2-prizer, so it's the whole acceleration engine by itself. And there's a Mars as well, which is, well, someone's got to take it. So we see the Insta pick of Olympia. Olympia, of course, a switching card and a healing card in one. Can be really good with this like tanky strategy that usually the Fossil decks kind of want to go with. There's also a few really good cards in this pack, like a Fallen Farmer. If you get some like Holland Transceiver type cards, you can make a pretty balanced supporter lineup with your farmers and mentors and adventure scientists. Claw Fossil still here. Nobody's going for Armaldo, I'm pretty sure. This pick is not coming back, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not going to go back. So, Farmer, Claw Fossil, Science Lab. If Apsyy wants to draft any of those cards, it has to be now. But I agree with the Olympia. He has some really thick guys, and Olympia is the type of cards that you really want to play in those kind of decks where it's kind of hard to move your Pokemon around, and 30 healing is just so good in this power level. So really like the Olympia pickup here. Next pack comes up, 2 switch in the same pack, and the Buddy Engineers, a Leap. Didn't see Apsyy going for any like Root Fossil, Cordeli, Leap. He does have a Holland Fossil, and he might be getting like Strange Cave as in future packs, so And for Leap, like it is an option, but such a good card. Engineers is a playable supporter. Force Guardian not so much. Oh, and Engineers also combos with Magma's Camera Up, since you want energy in the discard to use. Oh god, I forgot the name of the power. I used that power so many times. Overheat, right? Yes, Overheat. Celebi acts as like a fine card, kind of weird to use in this cube in my opinion, but that attack can be very annoying. It can protect itself from other EXs. But this pack is really strong. There's still 2 switch. Like, how many people picked cards from this? It's like almost the whole pod picked a card, and there are 2 switch left. Oh my god. Here we see the wheel, and something that we didn't talk about in the first pick, in the first time this pick was going on. Unearth has a really good attack where you can search a deck for any 2 like stage 1 fossils and just put in your bench directly. So if you put that Unearth and play like turn 1 with a Strange Cave or a Holland Fossil, you can just like start putting stage 1s directly into your bench, kind of like a Curly or a Frogadier would do in the current day and age. So yeah, even if like that Unearth did nothing, maybe it's still the pick, because we only see 2 Unearths on Apsyy's pool, and he's going really hard on the fossil plan, and sometimes passing those fossils can be detrimental just because you have you make your opponents play fossils. So another claw fossil pickup for...
Yeah, another claw fossil pickup. I'm back.
Hello.
Shame it's next to Chatot, which is probably one of the best basics in the cube, with its free retreat and mimic attack. Always happy to pick that one up, but you got to get your fossils when you see them.
Yeah.
So what's happened? We've got a research.
A really good.
Great.
This was really strong for Apsyy, I would say. For this cube, he got a research heavy ball Olympia Engineers. That's really good.
That's really good.
He gets Fossil Excavator now, which is like, it's a weird card because it's a low priority, because not like what 1 or 2 people are going to play fossils in the pod, but the person who plays fossils is really happy to have that, because it's kind of like a Bebe search that searches your Pokemon or recovers them, or gets like your trainers that are hard to get from the discard or from the deck. So
it gets everything. It's like a Poke Kid on steroids.
Yes.
Fossil Excavator is for the fossil archetype. So definitely happy to see that one.
Have fun memories of that one. I sleeved up that card in my first regional, except I didn't own sleeves, so I just played the freaking deck without sleeves. My Bastiodon, no, it was a Rampardos deck in that back then.
Yes, I love that Rampardos. Hasty Headbutt.
Yes, Hasty Headbutt.
For 100.
It was so bad. It was in the Magmortar and Gardevoir metagame. It got absolutely stomped. Anyways, we have here a Makuhita and a Nummo, 2 basics for lines that Apsyy already has. The Nummo, he has 1 at least, right? Because he got pretty high pick in that pack. He goes for Nummo anyway, because probably he knows that he has to play like multiple Nummo, maybe 2, maybe even 3 for his 2 camera ups. And Makuhita is a card that he can get later.
Yes, definitely prioritizing the Nummo, having multiple camera ups already. We do see another Armaldo show up in the pack 3. So he's a good pickup. This one locks supporters for both players. Can be interesting.
Unfortunately, the best support, the best recovery card of all time is in that pack. It is not Holland Farmer. It is Clara. Clara's stupid good, and probably the pick here. It is quite sad to pass the Armaldo, quite sad to pass the Holland's Magneton as well, because he already passed, I think it was an Electrode in an earlier pack, but you can't pass a Clara. You just can't. Oh my god.
Yes, Clara. Oh, versus Seeker as well. This is looking like a very strong draft. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes for versus Seeker, kind of... Probably looked at like the Mentor, looked at some other cards, but I mean, you have a research, you have a Clara, like this versus Seeker gets so much value. Even if your cards are not great, having such a flexible card like versus Seeker is so good for your draft. And the rest of the pack is like fine. Like there are a lot of supporters, one for like each person in the pod probably. There's Registeel EX for whoever is playing the metal types. One important thing is that Bronzong, the Metal Lynx Bronzong that has been in this cube for, well, years and years and years, got nerfed the last few times that this cube was played. When you attach a Metal Energy with Metal Lynx, the Pokemon you're attaching to gets 2 damage counters. So, and of course, all Metal Energy in this cube are special metals. So, like, the energy you're putting already does -10, puts a -10 resistance in your Pokemon, but now you have to damage your guy, so it's not as good. So that Registeel might be, like, less of a high pick because the Metal archetype is a bit nerfed. But there are so many supporters in this pack, I would expect them to go before.
Yes. Definitely a justified nerf for that Bronzong though, as it was basically you pick it when you see it in this cube.
Yeah.
Excel, good attack, especially with 4 free special Metal Energies being handed out. Like, Metal was in a very good spot.
I think Metal was, Bronzong was the single best line in this cube before, and now it's still, like, one of the best lines.
Yeah.
It's just not the by far best one. So.
It's definitely good.
New pack. This pack is quite a lot weaker than the other ones, and this draft can start to go a different direction. This Melodic is not very good in this deck, because Healing Shower only heals non-EXs, and this deck is pretty much all EX at this point. There's a Credilli EX, so if Apsyy wants to go into the Credilli or model line, it is a good take. He can go with Delcatty to Reactive Shift and move some React energies around. He can just go for like a Transceiver or a Castaway to be a bit safer. So lots of different picks that he can go for. What do you think is the... Okay. Oh, Transceiver. Okay, he goes for Transceiver. He does not have any Holland... Yeah, he does not have any Holland Sporters. He already saw a few of them, but... I mean, it's still pack 3. You can get 1 or 2. If you get a Mentor, just having the one Transceiver is already good enough to search them out. And, oh my god, those packs are not letting up. They are still really good. Skyfew, just a great card. You can get some wacky combos with it. But Omastar is really good in a fossil deck, but not the specific type of fossil deck. It wants the Omastar and Kabutops line in the discard. There's the Delta Species Hariyama, a card that I always seem to play in this cube. He goes for Nummo, so that's the third Nummo. I think he realizes that one of the Nummos is gone, and there's a pretty high probability that this Nummo also doesn't wheel, so Apsyy goes for it. He's probably more worried about making kind of a consistent deck at this point, instead of just like going for power cards all the time. Like, if he gets a Camera Up EX and the Normal EX and can like clean up knockouts with Hariyama and Manectric, I mean, this deck is going to be good enough. So even passing the, in my opinion, very strong comeback card in Hariyama Delta Species. New pack loads up. We have like the bad Armaldo, which is kind of sad. This Armaldo, you have to discard fighting energy and do 30 damage for each one you discard. And then you have a kind of mid 3/4/60 no resistance attack, which is not amazing. You can still take the Armaldo just to like cut the line from the draft and make sure that no one else is picking Armaldos. But I think that's already like true, and that card is so bad that if someone really wants to pick that up, sure. And I'm pretty sure that's just gonna get burned anyway. And the rest of the pack, there's an Unknown G, which can be a pretty annoying card. it becomes a tool where your Pokemon cannot be affected by anything except damage, so no effects. So like if you want to poison the Armaldo EX with an attack, you can't do that with on guard. There's also Groundon EX, which can be a pretty annoying attacker. Pretty big, basic, 3/400, discard 2 energy, and when it has 2 energy or less, it takes 20 less damage. We do see the Armaldo tag here. I'm surprised that Apsyy goes for it. Probably really wants to cut the line because he already passed one Armaldo earlier. So if someone is like trying to wield them, they're gonna see that this one is gone and, well, not be able to take them. New pack. It is pack 3, pack 6. Still pretty good cards in this. If there was not the Fossil Excavator, I would say the Paw Pad is by far the best taken here. He has a Clara, a Professor's Research, so these types of cards get really good when you can reuse them. Or he has a Versus Seeker as well, so yeah. But there's a Fossil Excavator, which like in this deck is just so good. It just makes your line so consistent. Can be a recovery card as well in case you need to be. Also like a few basics, but I think maybe Porygon is the only one you really care about. Apricorn Maker, you have what? Lure Ball, Heavy Ball. You can like take other balls in the future, but it's probably not better than either Fossil Excavator or Paw Pad. And there's also Protective Orb, but oh, he goes for Mantine. Like, I see why he goes for Mantine, but this might be a problem because that Mantine from Team Rocket Returns, it has an errata. Like the text of the card is not like what it actually does. It says that you heal 10, but you have to be active to heal 10, and so like the card loses a lot of value. Kind of like the same problem that they made with Slowking back then in the Neo era.
Definitely an obnoxious card when you can use it from the bench.
But maybe you can't. And by maybe, I'm like pretty sure you can't. Good news here, Armaldo wield. So earlier he got the bad Armaldo from Power Keepers. Just like cut the line. But having this Armaldo wield is like the best thing for you. Just like way better than the other one. And a pretty clear signal that no one else is playing Armaldo.
Yeah. Should be easy pickings on Claw Fossils and Unearth from here on out.
And he's focusing more on like the Nummels. He took a Nummel in like a pretty contested pack, so the picks that where it's kind of free to pick Unearth and Claw Fossils he's gonna do, and like he kind of used better picks in Nummels, but like this deck is looking pretty solid. If we look at the numbers, there are 5 supporters and 7 items. Of course, it counts the fossils as items, so it has like 4 items, I would say. But like still, it's on a pretty good path of a good deck. Surprise Time Machine. Oh, Surprise Time Machine. That's a good way of accelerating energy to your Camerupt, and then Surprise Time Machine away. Become Camerupt EX, and then, well, you took a lot of damage, but at least you accelerated like 2 or 3 energy onto your pretty big guy. Really like Surprise Time Machine.
Definitely a fan. You can also use it to change out of the supporter locking Armaldo and go into the EX.
True.
And then use a supporter for turn. Pretty cheeky.
We see now a few other like pretty decent cards. Credilli EX is a pretty clear signal that no one else is playing Credilli. Maybe someone plays like the Life Explosion, and it was taken, but it's not necessarily a deck where you want to play Credilli EX just because it's the same line. I really like Credilli EX. I think that card is a bit underrated. It can be annoying with Primal Vibes. Is that the name of the body? Primal Vibes, of course, not Vibes. And
it is Vibes. It is Vibes.
It is Vibe. No, there's no way the body is named Primal Vibes, right?
Primal Vibes.
Oh my god.
Because they're vibing.
They're not vibing because they can't evolve. But I think that card is just really annoying because it's a lot of special conditions in one singular card. And oh my god, look at this pack. Almost our Skyfeud, Menifee, and Darkmuck are going to get burned. Nobody's taking those cards. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, Muck is a new line to this cube, right?
Yeah,
I've not seen anyone work with Muck before, but I
apparently
think
they're
people
not
just
going to do it
sticking to
today.
what they know. Yeah, Omastar as well, also one of those newer lines.
Yeah, I
And
really
that
like that
Omastar,
Omastar. I think that card is really good because like 3 for 90 in this cube is like above rate, and that card is not bad by any means. You got to set up like a specific type of deck, but that's a very doable deck. And new pack, not great. This pack
not
kind of
great.
sucks.
The Solrock is an interesting one though. Just another way to accelerate energy to your bench. And if Apsyy does manage to get a Lunatone, it means that your fighting attackers aren't affected by resistance. So that can be a great support line to have on the bench.
And this cube has a few fighting resistant attackers. The psychic stage 2 line doesn't because it's Gardevoir, but the stage 1 does, which is Banette. I think all of the Gen 3 Banettes have fighting resistance, and yeah, that can be like a bad matchup that you turn into like a fine one. He still hasn't chosen his cards. Double Rainbow is like not amazing in this deck because you have so many EXs. It's kind of stuck to a few attackers only. Wally is like, I never know if Wally is like broken or like mid, because at worst Wally is like supporter Evil Soda, but at best is like I'm gonna kill you turn 2 or even turn 1. Like if you can somehow accelerate, you can make a Strange Cave Wally up like Armaldo turn 1, but that's like dreamer scenario.
Definitely not easy to do. I guess with like the Armaldo Delta, you'd need like a double rainbow. You go for a turn 1 Delta Edge for 60.
But you already used your Wally, so goodbye damage.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. That does not work. So what was the pick in the end?
It was a
It
Holland
was...
Transceiver, and now we're
Okay.
taking an adventure because he already has Holland Transceiver. There was a really bad pack earlier that like he just took a free Transceiver, but a lot of the Holland sporters have already passed. So taking an adventure here, like adventure is not great, but when you have like a Transceiver that cannot get an adventure and you just want to draw cards, it sucks to not have adventure. So I like taking the adventure here, even if it's contested by some like very good cards in Power Hand Extension and Escape Rope, cards that like you're gonna play 100% of the time.
It's definitely worth picking up with 2 Holon Transceiver, but this is the first Holon supporter, so time to start picking them up. I think there's 3 Adventurer in the cube.
Yeah, this cube has a lot of Holland Matters cards, so I think there's quite a few of them. We'll have to see if he can get lucky. And the mentor is the most important one. When you have a mentor in your deck, like your transceivers becomes something else. Oh, here's a Carstone. Insta pick.
Insta pick. Very good in this deck. Like you say, the only powers are the camera up, and I guess the Mantine now, but you don't have to play the Mantine.
Yeah, if you're going to the Curstone route, you just don't play those cards. He actually chooses the Curstone, but goes for it again, because like there are some good cards in this pack. Like Squirmel Energy is pretty good. Celios is it's fine because his deck is very EX heavy, and Celios cannot grab EXs. Initiative can be annoying. Crushing Hammer can be annoying, but like annoying is something, and Curstone is twice or 3 times more annoying than all of those combined. So
yeah, Moltres EX also a great attacker and pivot option, but I think Apsyy has enough attackers at this point.
oh, true, he is playing Fighting Energy, Fight and Fire Energy. So yeah, Legendary Ascent can be really good. But we talked about Curstone before. Like it sometimes this card wins the game by itself. So Apsyy is kind of thinking about that as well.
A good card. Very good card.
Speaking of very good cards,
This is a very strong pack.
Wow.
Bronzong is a great draw engine, a great attacker. Baby Search is great Pokemon Search. I really like Evolutor in this sort of power level as well.
True.
Just another way to get your Pokemon in play. And Dark Ampharos in particular, I think is crazy, but it's going to be hard to fit it in this deck.
Yeah, maybe you have to like cut another line to fit a Dark Ampharos in your deck. I also really like it when like it would be really good if you had the Evolutor with the Dark Ampharos, but he goes for Bebes, which makes a lot of sense. That card just fits into any deck. And like passing the Bronzong is awkward because you don't have a draw engine, but like you don't necessarily want to play a draw engine. You're a Curse Stone deck. So it's a bit awkward. And here's a Strange Cave. And this pack is not going to wheel, right?
No, it's not. This is the last pick.
And can you tell me how many Strange Cave is there in this cube? Because I don't remember if like 2 or 1. Because that card
there are 2.
Oh, there
two
are
Strange
two.
Cave.
Okay. So
one thing I like about this cube is there's like 4 different fossil lines, and often you have all this fossil support, but it's only for one line. But there's actually like lines competing over the support.
yeah, because
Makes it more interesting.
the Kabutops and Omastar deck doesn't necessarily want to play with the other ones. The Cordilla deck is kind of not a fossil deck. You just use the fossil support to put the Cordelia in play and do some stuff with it. And the Armaldo deck also kind of not necessarily plays well with the other ones. So yeah, really like how a very weird card like Strange Cave gets to be very valuable in a cube like this, and he goes for it because like in this deck, Strange Cave is really good.
Yeah, it's another stadium to lock into play with Hariyama as well. Stops your opponent putting obnoxious stadiums into play like Parallel City,
which we already
very
saw
scary.
passing.
Yeah, I'm surprised Apsyy didn't take it, to be honest. Was that before or after the Hariyama EX?
That was before. It was one of the first picks
Yeah.
he got. It was pack 1. I don't remember exactly. He goes for the Soul Rock. I mean, this pack sucks, right? Like none of his fossils evolved from Sears fossils, so I don't care. He could take the Lunatone, but he didn't take the Soul Rock in the beginning. Yeah, just doesn't. Oh well, here's the Soul Rock.
There's the Soul Rock. Kind of wishing taking the Lunatone now, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know what else. I mean, Wally's a good pick. I'm surprised to see Wally coming back round.
Yeah. Well, Wally can't evolve EXs, right? I don't remember if this cube has a rule box rule. Because if Wally can't evolve EXs, most of Apsyy's deck is EX focused, so
True, yes.
it's kind of... we need to confirm if Wally would work with ODXs anyway.
I think they are treated the same, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, the Sorak pick is quite good. We see Portraits Murgo going away, and, like, when I started playing Cube, that card, like, was really good. And as the years went by, people were like, yeah, that card is not it anymore.
Yeah, I hate that card. I've had some very bad experiences. Escape Rope on the wheel. Very good card.
Yes.
Lots of bulky Pokemon in this deck, so as many switch outs as you can get.
Yeah, and
You're not just losing to Poison and Confusion, which are great ways to deal with
yeah,
bulkier Pokemon.
Escape Rope is just like Warpoint and Escape Rope are cards that I would play one off in any cube deck I would make. They are so good. They are so flexible, and I mean, what more do you want in your deck? Flexible cards all the way. Kind of sad to pass a Holland Fossil. Maybe he's second guessing, but how many claw? How many claw fossils does he have? Two claw fossils for now. Just fine is a decent number. If you have like a Holland Fossil Strange Cave, you don't necessarily need to play with 4 of them. And I'm pretty sure there are 8 claw fossils in this cube, so
Yeah, and no one's on Armaldo. We know that.
yeah, that's
3
for
of
sure.
them are already here, and also one of the Anoriths searches out 2 more Anoriths. So
Yeah, Influence Center, but that I'm pretty sure he got is the Legend Maker one. We see RSPK top tier card Numel with Kindle. Love that card / hate that card, but in this case, I think it's just an evolving basic. Is his 4th Numel actually? He's really going for that line.
Yeah. Probably hoping for the Deoxys Camerupt.
Oh,
That's
yes.
my favorite one with the split bomb.
Oh my god, that
30
card's
to
so
2
good.
Pokemon. So good.
And Backburner, so, like, such an underrated accelerating attack.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It is great.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Dark
Dark
Ampharos!
Ampharos is winning. What is
Wow!
going on?
And this pack sucks, so, like, it's a free Dark Ampharos.
I wonder what the pick just before was. Be really interested to see.
Yeah, it might have been. I mean, we have the technology. And no, we're just gonna. Well, Dark Ampharos is just
I mean,
gone.
it's getting burnt, right? So I think this might be speculating into a power circulation Celio
Yes.
to work with camera up.
True.
Might be a bit cute in a Curstone deck, but
I mean, what's the odds of this Dark Ampharos being the right pick there? Well, I don't know. And the pack has changed, so.
yeah. And this pack's also crazy. Apsyy X is one of the most underrated Pokemon in Cube. Even at high power levels,
Yeah.
Cursed Eyes, just a crazy attack. Power, sorry. Moving 3 damage counters from one Pokemon to another. And then we've got the usual good stuff. Pokecom, always good. Alolan Vulpix is like one of the best setup Pokemon. Maybe not as good in a fossil deck, but still really good at getting Pokemon from your deck. And Breeder as well. I'm a huge fan of Pokemon Breeder.
Yeah, Pokemon breeding this power level can be super good. Healing 20 damage, drawing 2 cards is kind of like the opposite of a Kukui, but I mean, 20 damage in this is just so high. But this deck is lacking Search, I would say, and Comma Search. And it's the type of card that you don't like passing, right? Like, Comma is so solid. And another card that kind of works weirdly with fossils, because like you can't come a fossil. So sometimes, like, your hand can be like, oh, I have this communication and I can't use it because my hand is like 2 fossils and none of them are actually Pokemon. But that being said, Kama is still calm, and he has 20 Pokemon in his pool right now. Not using all of them, of course, but like it's not gonna be like his deck is like 10 Pokemon. It's gonna be like 15 plus.
It's a shame to see the Ditto Prism going, because that is usually quite nice in fossil decks
True.
as like a searchable fossil. But this pack is also interesting.
We see a Super Rod, a Gladion, Warpoint. He doesn't necessarily need, not the switch. The Super Rod. So we have a Clara. Do we need a Super Rod when we have a Clara?
Aura, Little Ball, and Versus Seeker.
Yeah, maybe not. Which is weird, right? Like Super Rod's such a good card. You can also kind of hate draft it, but we're not playing with pod play. We're playing with everyone involved, so not even necessarily a decent hate draft. There's also cards like Rayquaza that you have fire and lightning energy in your deck, so you can pick Rayquaza as a big basic, but also has a Pokepower. You're playing a Curstone deck, not necessarily the best pick. And we can't not talk about the Solrock that stops colorless powers.
Yeah, Sora, very scary.
But he goes for
but still no Lunatone, so the Rayquaza is an interesting pick because you'd have to play basic lightning energy in your deck.
Well, he has the Manectric, right? So
True. I forgot about that. So we're going fire, fighting, lightning.
Bit of
I
lightning.
guess it fits in. The best thing about Rayquaza EX is its dual resist. It resists water and fighting. So in some matchups, it just lives for a very long time and can be really tough to deal with.
This pack is also really good. Again, we have a counter energy, kind of a weaker version of Scramble, but like still pretty good. Regirock EX is also interesting in this deck. You don't have a lot of acceleration. You do have your maybe future Camerupt. Outside of that, you have to somehow move energies from your Magma's Camerupt, and there's no way of doing that right now. Have a Contest Hall, but do we have even any tools? We don't have a tool in this deck, so Contest Hall, I don't know if it's decent or not.
This deck has enough good stadiums. It's not a particularly exciting pack for Apsyy.
Take the counter energy and call it a day. Take the Regirock, maybe.
Counter doesn't work on EXs either, so it's...
Oh, yeah, true.
So, I guess Regirock kind of makes sense, although you're not short for attackers. Do we have a Makuhita yet?
We... No, we don't.
And we've not seen any other Hariyamas coming around.
We saw the Delta species Hariyama, the one with the Pokebody that reduces damage at some point, but he passed it to get like something else. I don't remember. It was a good card. So, and talking about good cards, this is still pretty decent. There's Lookers, a card that like you're pretty happy to play in any deck. There's also Cleffa, which is something that Apsyy doesn't have as a good starting basic. Something that like, okay, I need to come into whatever Cleffa or Jirachi or Sableye I have to set up, to play the game. He doesn't have one of them right now. Don't know if he plans on getting one of them.
I like the Cleffa pick. It's really good with Escape Rope and Olympia, just if you want to heal or get out the active and then see what they pick. I really like the Diva Looter. I know Apsyy's not going to pick it, but I find at the end of the game you can just take a prize. Like, you devolve one of their Pokemon, and then you take a prize, because they've got less HP.
Mm-hmm. I really like the TMs from Diamond and Pearl, because I think they can be attached to any Pokemon, and they can be used by zero energy, so you don't need to, like, overcommit, or be like... Sorry.
I'm just thinking, like, could you attach it to a Claw Fossil, and then Divalita?
Oh my god, that's so broken.
Fossil doesn't give it prize cards, and they're like, I have to kill this Claw Fossil.
Or else I'm never evolving again. Oh my god, true. I never thought about that.
It's one way to force them to deal with you.
Kill the fossil.
Lux Investigation's still a great pick. I think that's Apsyy's first bit of hand disruption, so always good to get that to keep your opponent's hand under control. And with Versus Seeker, you can use it twice if you have to.
It's a very flexible card. You're never sad to play Lookers, so I'd be worried if Apsyy got anything else. But yeah, this pack is like, we also see the Ampharos EX just there. I'm pretty sure nobody's playing Ampharos. Maybe the Life Explosion guy. And Life Explosion guy, by the way, passed Dark Ampharos. Can you believe that? Because Life Explosion was in one of the first packs.
Yes.
There is a Life Explosion person in the spot. I'll guarantee.
It's definitely one of the better stage 2s to put into play. That is surprising. Life Explosion is just a crazy card.
Yeah, it's a really fun build around in this cube. It always has a deck, so...
There's a Makuhita.
Yeah, also
a Strange Cave.
Oh, God. I mean, he does have the 2 Transceiver, but I think Farmer is unnecessary in this deck. Strange Cave is like... You already have a Strange Cave. You already have a Curse Stone, but I like the second Strange Cave because the earlier you get one, the better it is. And like, it's a card your opponent kind of has to answer, or else you're gonna like have an army of fossils very early in the game. But it does make sense to get the Makuhita because they are not coming back, and we haven't seen the best, maybe the best. I think it's not 100%, but the Palm Strike Hariyama from some of the Diamond and Pearl sets. I don't remember which one. That card is really good. That's a Mike Gibbs special, so someone might be building like a 4 Makuhita 1 Hariyama deck with lots of recovery, because reusing that one card can be really annoying.
It's definitely a good card. Great Encounters, I think it is.
Sure. Sounds right.
That Roselia, that is a slept-on card.
Yes, I agree.
Even for its Pokebody, just the attack
both
is Gust and Poison, and it's like, oh, this is really annoying.
I think I top 3 an RSPK, not an RSPK, a 2006 tournament once, because I had the hot tack of the Roselia in Rayags when someone only had 1 Metagross Delta, and they were like, oh, I'm gonna set up now. I'm like, nope, you're not.
Oh my god, sounds so good.
1 Blastoise as well. It's like, goodbye. Can't accelerate.
They can't even use their Poke Powers when they're poisoned, right?
Yep.
Like, and then it's got a really big retreat cost of 3. And it's like, if you don't have a switch, you're just gonna win the game.
Yeah, and like this Roselia, like the Flick Poison tech is really good by itself. And Reactive Aroma, I think, is really underrated in this power level. You have to commit a React Energy to Roselia and then 1 other React Energy to one of your non-EX Pokemon. But like, you heal 10 each like between turn step. That is really good.
It's crazy. It's crazy. This Bronzong is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any Poke powers, so...
And you're playing Curstone.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Pain Amplifier puts a damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon that have damage counters on it.
Yeah.
And the Pokebody puts a damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon that have Poke powers between turns.
Yep.
So it's literally like double Curstone for your opponent. It's so good.
And when you play a Curstone with that card, it is a menace. He goes for Mewtwo, which I do think makes sense because he has a Team Magma's Camerupt. He can like have a surprise turn of moving 3 energy in the same turn. Again, he has a Curstone. Maybe he has to choose between having the acceleration or having the Curstone. You can do both. Sometimes you're going to lose to yourself, but you can do both. It is okay. Marley's Request, another really good card. You can make your opponent do some choices like Disclar or just Versus Seeker. Something like,
yeah.
If you get a Junk Arm later, also same thing is like, do you want me to get the card I want or the card that gets the card I want?
It's another way to, well, one of the few ways to recover Curstone as well. You can be like, I'll have Curstone or, I don't know, Versus Seeker. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Your opponent has to choose the worst for them. Well, the worst for you. But anyway, Marley's Request, really good. The rest of the pack, not really good. Kind of bad. Steven is not a card you are ever happy playing, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that Cradilly is pretty good. It's basically a stage 2 version of the
Roselia.
Roselia. Yeah, but not as splashable.
Yeah. Swoop is kind of a sad card to play in a fossil deck because most of your basics are not, well, basics. Also, like, the cards you get with Strange Cave and Hollow Fossil, they are considered basics, so you can swoop them, but, like, it feels really bad to do so. And Gladion is, like, playable. It's not, you're not happy playing Gladion, but I think there are games where your Gladion is going to be the card that saves your life. But he goes for Solrock. What do you think about the Solrock?
This is the one that turns off
colorless
Pokemon powers, right?
Yeah.
So what does it turn off here? It turns off
Delcatties, yeah.
Delcatty, power circulation, backup Porygon 2.
Those are 3 really strong cards.
Yeah. Top Accelerator Salamence as well.
Oh,
the other big hit.
Yeah. Does it turn off bodies as well, or just powers? I think it's just powers, right?
I think it's just powers.
Okay.
But you do need a Lunatone in play, and I'm not sure there's going to be room on the bench.
Yeah, if we're playing the power version of this deck, I'm pretty sure it's not. But if we're playing the Curstone, maybe. And say there's a chance. We got the Shift Tree. This Shift Tree is like just so big. 130 HP, 3 for 60, annoying attacks and bodies. I don't think he's gonna play it, but I think he's happy because he's not gonna play against it.
Yes, very annoying because it can confuse you, and then if you have the same number of cards, and if it's in the active, your opponent's coin flips draw tails, so the confusion's guaranteed.
You can
fail.
You can't ever attack into it. You have to retreat out.
The Devoluta is wheeling. What is wrong with these? Sorry. That is such a good card. Oh no, he's taking the Porygon. Like Devoluta Claw Fossil Apsyy, come on.
They don't know. They really don't know.
Technology.
And one day we're gonna get that card removed from cubes. And here's a new pack. This is pack 6, and how many packs do we have? 8? 8 packs of...
8 packs, yeah.
Okay.
So you can see on the left, we've got 30 picks left.
Oh, duh. Yeah, 30.
So
30
just
picks.
over halfway. Pont, good. Cynthia and Caitlin, very good. And Roseanne's Research is okay, but not as good in a fossil deck.
Mm-hmm. Shift Reacts, I think, is a card you're happy to see someone else take because your deck absolutely destroys the Shift Reacts, so you legitimately don't care about it.
I agree with the Cynthia and Caitlin pick here. Just with Versus Seeker and Sinlin, you can just reuse any of your supporters more than once, which is really strong.
I don't know. It's weird because Sinland, there's moments where like it's a 9, and there's moments where like it's a 4 or a 3. And Pont is a card that it's always like solid to better than solid because Shuffle Draw 6 is just such a good number. So like I think it's fine to pick Sinland over Pont, but like it kind of depends on maybe your supporter lineup. Like this one has some pretty good cards like the Fossil Excavation, because I think he also has 2 Fossil Excavations, so you can like keep using them to recover if necessary. I don't necessarily dislike the Sinland versus like Cynthia or New Theory. I think there's a conversation to be had there.
Yeah, both are good picks.
Yeah, they are guaranteed.
The Focus Sash, not so good in this deck, just because Armaldo's got so much HP. It's not really going to be knocked out in one hit.
A bit of a weird card. I think if you wield the Focus Sash, maybe
I don't think you'd ever play it.
Yeah, you'd probably still take the Claw Fossil, right? Ooh. Oh, shit. This pack is really good.
What would you pick here?
We only have one Makuhita, right? Because the Hariyama, the Palm Strike Spirited Throw is such a good attacker, but I think the Judge, like, you have so many ways of reusing supporters. You can like keep judging someone with a Curse Stone in play. That seems really good. Giovanni's is also like a fine pick. Plus 20 damage sometimes can get you over the edge of like everything, and you already play like Curse Stone, so you have other ways of softening up damage. So sometimes Giovanni is just like the killing blow that your opponent never expects. And I like the Giovanni. Either the Giovanni or the Judge I think are really good. Or the Hariyama, but like Hariyama takes your deck in a different direction, which I don't necessarily like. Ooh. 2 Melodics and AZ Twins Researcher.
I think I would pick AZ here, especially as you can reuse it with...
versus Seeker and then...
Like, especially on your Team Magma's camera up, like, it damages itself, and then you can pick it back up and accelerate more energy.
True. I think AZ, just in general, in this power level, is just such a crazy good card. Because most cards that do that type of effect, you can't use on EXs, which is like Brinies, usually, in this power level. So any time you can like pick up an Armaldo EX that your opponent like spent 3 or 4 turns attacking you just to pick it up, it's such a good card. So yeah, I really like the AZ here. Are there any Pokemon in this cube where that Igglybuff like absolutely destroy? Because Igglybuff, like, you choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and you like stop them from using powers or bodies. So like you can stop like Dark Ampharos and for EX maybe. I guess.
Until the end of
your turn. Yeah, your turn.
Your turn, yeah.
Which is like used to stop Pre-Errata's Loking, I guess, in the Neo formats. We're talking over Lapras here, by the way. Like that, there's just a Lapras sitting in there.
There's a Lapras. There's also a Trevor though, and I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, no Lapras.
I think the Curse Stone plan is going away after like we have so many good powers now after this Lapras. Like before, it was already like a consideration because you have Mewtwo and Camerupt as a pretty good combo. But now with Lapras, like, do we really want to kill our bench and not use those pretty good powers? You can still play the Curse Stone, but you have to be really like smart when playing your cards and not killing yourself with them.
I think you still play it for the times you don't need to use these setup Pokemon. Sometimes all you need is like 10 damage for a knockout, and because you're choosing when the Curse Stone comes into play, it benefits you a lot more. Yeah,
there's at least one turn cycle where 10 damage might be like the threshold. So yeah, I mean, you're never not taking the Lapras.
Yeah. Sometimes you pick Trevor, but I think we have enough good Pokemon search and enough supporters that Lapras, having access to all of those supporters, is really strong here.
Ooh,
so round camera. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, not the great camera up. Oh my, wow, he immediately goes for it. Like even if it is the like not amazing camera up, he doesn't even think twice. Which is like I've never seen someone go for that camera that fast. That card is not great. It's like meh.
It can do 4 for 100.
4 energy.
Just a very expensive attack. Yeah.
It's your delete button, right? If you really like want to work through some guys and like something is like a big wall. 4 for 100. Not necessarily kills it, but like 100 damage, man. In this cube, it's like even a 2-shot, even with like a big amount of healing. So
I think there was a Cursed Beach in that pack would have been interesting. It was currently on 0 special energy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unlocking that in play with
Hariyama
EX would be pretty good.
I think the Hariyama plan is like also coming down a bit, especially after the camera up to take, because like we have a 4-3 camera up line right now. Well,
Camels and Armaldos, I think, is the deck.
Here's a Lunatone for those Zoroarks we have been talking about, but like this Lunatone turns off your guy, and he's taking Makuhita, so I think that Zoroark's still playable, right? Because he was accelerate from the discard. How are we discarding energy, by the way? We have Singular Holland Adventurer. We have Engineers.
Not many ways. I guess maybe it'll be more of a late game thing after some of your Pokemon have been knocked out.
Yeah.
And on the wheel, we do see that Focus Sash coming back round.
But a Claw Fossil.
I have to imagine it's the Claw Fossil. Although, that Grime is pretty good.
It's the same thing. Just pull one of your opponent's guys.
Yeah.
But it don't poison, though. We do see the Focus Sash. Like, maybe for, like, the weakness matchup. He also doesn't have any tools. So, like, running a Focus Sash is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's not like you're putting a Focus Sash in, no, I can't put, like, an XP share now or something else, a Floatstone. He doesn't have any. I would still prefer the Claw Fossil, but I see why the Focus Sash might be a card taken here.
Hariyama
wheels. Oh my god. Maybe he took the Makuhita thinking that, like, maybe the Hariyama wheels, because, I mean, this card is so good.
But more importantly, the Shuppet wheels. And Shuppet is probably one of the best decks in this cube.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that card is not gonna be played, right? Bayonetta EX. So even if it's like a 2-1.
Just for fade out, you do 30, you put it in your hand, and then you go into a fossil. And there's like 16, there's 24 fossils in this cube.
My god, yeah, you're right. You can just like fossil stall someone with Sherman.
And there's plus power, so I am surprised no one's like latched onto that.
One day.
We're playing conventional decks today.
Yeah, one day we're gonna do some bullshit with that. Oh, Lucian's assignment is really good with Team Magma's camera up.
That's really good. Another way to move energy along with that Delta Mewtwo.
Yeah,
start powering up these Armaldos, because Armaldos are the better attackers, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, they require a bit more setup, but
they are quite chunky. And like the rest of the pack is pretty bad. You don't have any reason to play like a Holland Circle. You don't have any Delta Pokemon, so Researcher doesn't really do anything for you. Well, you have Mewtwo, but you're not gonna do that. And looking at the pool, there are a lot of Pokemon that like there are maybes right now. Like do you play a 1/1 Nectric line with like very few ways of getting basic energy, no special energies?
You
also
probably don't. Although it is one of the better attackers.
But like
it's really hard to fit in.
Yeah, your deck is gonna be worse because of it. I'm pretty sure. Cube is already janky, and like you're gonna put a third type of energy, and the rest of your lines are so well developed. You don't even need like Rayquaza EX to be with it, because you have like Regirock if you want like just a big EX to put in the active. Or not. Here's another trick.
Yeah, well, why not? It's not like any of the other Pokemon in this pack.
Yeah.
Ever going in the deck.
Well, the influence in team assembly attacks on Oma Knight's pretty good, but like you don't have any serious. Well, you can still get them with Strange Cave, but anyway, it's not gonna be played. So we have 2 more packs to go, right?
Yes, 2 more packs.
What do you think Apsyy wants to put in this deck?
I mean, honestly, the deck is looking pretty solid. Well, there's an Uxie. That would be a pretty good card.
Oh my god, this pack.
I'm just trying to think though, like double colorless energy, junk arm. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's such a good pack. Oh my god. Yeah, you take the Uxie, you have a Lapras, you just like Curse Stone is in the back pocket right now. It's not the main thing anymore.
Apsyy really has everything, so at this point, it really is just picking up the niceties like Uxie.
Ball Surge, good supporter.
Yeah, Ball Surge.
He is thinking. He didn't go immediately for the Uxie. Maybe it was like, is this DC better than the Uxie? Which, like, there are decks. I would say that a DC is better than an Uxie.
Armaldo EX, right, is fighting double colorless?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Hariyama's not. The Sandstorm Armaldo is not. The other Armaldo, the bad one, is 3 colorless for 60. No, I think that Uxie is...
It's an Uxie. Yeah. And we can Psychic Restore, put Uxie to the bottom of the deck,
and go promote a fossil. Yeah, of course.
It's amazing.
Oh dear. It doesn't even die to your own Curse Stone, because you can Psychic Restore it back. And I just found, like, Uxie in this power level is pretty good, because you can, like, early game, poke for 20, and right before it's going to get killed, you just go back.
Oh, yeah. It's really good. And you can hit for weakness, and with Giovanni's scheme, like, if they're weak to Psychic, that's like 1 energy, 80.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So let's see if you're a Mike Gibbs thinker here. What card do you take from this pack?
What do I take?
Are you
I
not
don't know. We've got enough recovery, so it's not Rescue Scarf.
Are you not a Lucky Helmet enjoyer?
I am not. Well, now that you mention it, we've got a Focus Sash, which is pretty bad. But Lucky Helmet on Moldo EX is actually a pretty good way to draw cards, right?
Yeah, it's... when I played this cube last time, I had like kind of an annoying Pokey deck. My opponent played a Milotic EX and put a Lucky Helmet in it. That card drew like 12 cards, I think. Because I could not kill the freaking Milotic EX.
That is crazy.
But that being said, we have... Now
that you mention it.
We have some other cards. Like, I don't like Energy Root in this deck because it can't be attached to the X's. So, like, what are you doing with it? Like, you do have a Hariyama now, I guess. But
yeah, I think it's you get. Oh, there's the camera.
Ooh.
You get one more use of your Team Magnus camera up, I guess.
No, you can't because when you attach Energy Root, you can't use Poke Powers.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, that is not the pick then.
I think I'm either a Holland Fossil or a Lucky Helmet enjoyer, and that you need to play against Mike Gibbs like 2 or 3 times to understand how good that card is. To be like, even if when it draws 2 cards, it's already like decent. When it draws 4, it's like, oh, okay, I'm fucked. I'm completely screwed.
We have assembled the 4 camera.
The 4 camera.
And this is my favorite one.
Yeah,
very happy to see this pick up.
To be honest, except for like the Ruby and Sapphire camera, all 3 other camera ups are pretty high picks, which makes me really happy because camera ups is one of those lines where like at the beginning of Cube, it was very bad. It was one of those cards nobody ever cared about. And the more I play, the more people are like, oh no, those cards are actually pretty good. It just 3-0'd my Cube this week. So I'm really happy with like how camera up has been going on Cube lately, and like we're seeing really high picks of camera ups in Apsyy's pack. I really want to see how well this deck goes, and we're for sure gonna watch his first game. I'm really interested in how this deck does.
This is a weird pack. There's the Holland's Electrode, if we did want to splash into the Manectric line could be a good pickup.
Solid
Nothing else is really.
Rage.
Yeah.
I'm
Solid
looking...
Rage doesn't work on EXs though, does it?
No, it doesn't. But like at this point, you have three camera ups that are non-EX and one Hariyama, and like at least two are models. But although I doubt he's gonna play the Parkeeper's one. But yeah, Holland's Electrode, like searchable energy, dude. Imagine if you could Ultra Ball for energy, and if it was that energy is a double rainbow, right? I think that card is. I mean, the Holland's Pokemon are my favorite Pokemon in Cube ever. So, oh my God! Hello, Electric EX.
That potentially changes things.
Oh my God!
Because that's another way to lock Curstone into play if we wanted to go down that route. And obviously, it's just a crazy card.
Yeah, like
Up to Snipe 80.
This is another pack that like we have to think really hard about how this deck goes, because like Zinnia's Resolve is a card you really want in this deck if you want to go the Team Agma's Camerupt route. But Manectric EX kind of changes like your whole plan, right? How many Electrike do we have? 1, 0?
Seeing one.
Okay.
1 Electrike, 3 Manectric.
Oh yeah, he took a random Manectric before, yeah. And it's weird, because like if you don't want to play the Manectric EX, you really don't want to take it, because you have such a good matchup into it. You really don't care about that card. You just kill it. So taking it is, like, if he doesn't use, I think taking the Manectric is a wrong thing. I think you would rather make your opponents play it and just one-shot it, take 2 prizes.
This pack is a bit underwhelming, but getting a Makuhita is not the worst.
I would like the Cyclone as well, but I think if he wants to play with the Palm Strike Hariyama, you need multiple Makuhitas, so... We already saw... Well, this Hariyama in the pack is, like, really bad, so we don't care. And there's the other Hariyama, the Delta Species one, didn't come back, so someone has that card. And again, I think this style of draft makes you draft a bit more conservatively. Like, you could just take a basic. Like, there's no reason to not do that. There's a 1/1/1 Shiftry line in this pack. That's sad. See, Holland Lass.
Interesting.
I don't dislike Lass. I think...
I mean, especially if Apsyy adds other types of energy into the deck.
Yeah.
You've already got Fighting and Fire, most likely. Having access to those is always good. And actually, all these Holand supporters are ways to discard energy.
Yep. He has Suit Transceiver as well, so like you can get the last the turn you need it. Because there are turns where you would rather last than like Adventure. So it's a card that like fluctuates between being barely playable to like decent in my mind. So maybe it's a decent in this deck where you don't have a draw engine as well. So like Holland Lass, I have like 5 energy for the next 5 turns. That's good enough. The rest of the pack is quite like uninteresting. Protective Orb is like understandable, but no, I think this deck doesn't really care for it.
It doesn't work on EX. I think this Shiftry is like the standout card. Surprised no one's picked that up. Just being able to pick up one of your Pokemon, even EX, and all the cards attached to it.
Yeah, that one is underrated as fuck, and I am surprised to see it be there still. Because like we've seen Shift React, we've seen the other Shift React, so and they didn't wheel. I think maybe the Dirge one wheeled, but that other Shift React never wheels. That card is one of the best stompers in the cube. So this Shiftry as a splash in that deck might be really good, and maybe someone is trying to wheel it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mighty in it.
Do we have a Sydney Stadium in this cube?
There is one.
Oh,
yeah, there's one. But It's not worth it, is it?
Lower card needs to put the Poison Cacturn if he has the Sydney Stadium to use that card with like 2 different cards.
We
And
do have to remember. Sorry,
no, go
we
ahead.
get four special dark energy, right?
Yes,
So
we do. There is
that
no
makes
basic.
Chicory and Mightyena a lot better than they look like on paper.
Yeah. You can only use special energy in this cube like you would in 2005, 6, 7. Holland Fossil Wield. How many Holland Fossil do we have? Is it only the one?
Only one. Let's make it 2.
Holland do we not have? Oh no, we do have one. I mean, I personally really like Holland Fossil because you can get into those moments where like my bench sucks and now I have 3 Uneris and next turn you're gonna go dead. The Electrike also makes sense if like we don't know if Apsyy like might be thinking about changing a bit of his deck to fit the Manectric EX because I mean he does have 3 Manectric. Maybe at some point the Manectrics are better than like the Hariyamas because like your stage 2 line already is fighting. So do you really need to play a stage 1 fighting line?
I could agree with that. All the Armaldo stuff came very early in the draft, so might be looking at other things.
Yeah, like
The Apsyy wants to play more of like a stage 1 beatdown deck.
we could abandon the Armaldo, yeah. Like Manectric Camerupt not Armaldo, Hariyama. It's pretty good actually. A pretty rushy deck. I don't know if we have the support for it. Like we wasted a lot of picks and fossils. Maybe there's a world. You have to see.
What does this nose pass do?
It's really funny. Gets a card from your deck or you eat something and back to the hand.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
I'm not surprised they're still around.
It's not great. Hello
my goodness.
there. Oh my. Okay. Oh my god.
Okay. I'm picking Reggie Rock.
Yeah,
What would you pick?
I don't know. Those 3 first cards, holy shit. Like, Briny is also really good. You can reset, because now he has a lot of good, like, single prize attackers. But Regirock is so good. Psycho. You already have your Mewtwo. So, like, if you Cycle a few times, you're going to go places. Yeah. And Sass.
And we've got Lucian's Assignment as well. That's another way to
oh,
move the
yeah.
Don't think there's any swoop, no. But, yeah, Cessation Crystal is also crazy.
Even Power Hand Extension is worth to be talked here. If you're losing the game, just, like, gust something in. Or put some energy back. It's really good. God,
I think there's 6 Holons Pokemon in this cube now, like Electric, Magneton,
oh, yeah.
Castform, and Pow just destroys those.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, you can win games off of one single Pow moving in.
Actually, this Gardevoir is also insane, healing 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon every turn.
Yeah, well, we're really badly prepared to play this Gardevoir, but there's a world where we can.
There's no way Apsyy takes it, but the card's insane. Like, what do you think wheels here that Apsyy can pick up?
Yeah, so
there's got to be something.
I think the Regirock might wheel, because like let's think about this. Bryony says Pal. I think the picks besides Regirock are those. If you take any of those, there's at least 2 cards that go. The Sass or the Power or the Bryony. Delcatty X, I think, goes. Rare Candy, I think, goes. And then, like, there's a 6th card, which can be, like, maybe the Gardevoir, maybe the Dual Ball, maybe the Compressor, even, like, if your deck really wants the discard. There's a world where this Regirock wheels. And I think Apsyy, like, he thought about it a while. I think he thought about it because there's, like, if he takes both of those, his deck goes crazy. Oh, my God. Download. It's a bit late for download.
Well, 15 supporters and 2 transceiver. It's possible, but I'm not sure the deck needs it. This is the Smeargle that doesn't work with EX Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to be reprinted at, like, Breakthrough to work with EXs.
Trick Shovel for some very light camera up EX synergy.
Yeah, I think not too good here. Even Wager could be a pick. Maybe he's going over like how good is this download?
It's probably just timeable, right?
Maybe, yeah. I would like the safest pick is a timer bowl. You're gonna play it. You're not necessarily gonna be happy with it, but like remember, we have a Sinlin, a Versus Seeker, and a Marley. Download is pretty good.
And I believe, yeah, already got 2 Porygons, so
We are
would
set
be
up,
easy enough to fit in.
but we don't go for it. I understand not going for the Porygon because like if you want to play a more rush approach, you don't really want to like use a ball search card to get a Porygon instead of like getting your attacker. Like it makes sense. I think. Do you think this Armaldo line is gonna be in this deck? Because the more I think about it, the more I think that it's out of the deck.
It's really 50-50. Like I would lean on not playing it at this point. If there was the Delta species, I think it would be in. But I think it's the Delta species and the EX that are really carrying the line.
Yeah, I agree.
Although we do have the supporter locking one, right? And the download Porygon is interesting with that because you can still use
Yeah.
a supporter return while locking out your opponent.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think he took a while to think about that one because like you pretty easily take the timer ball if you don't consider the download to be playable in your deck. But the more I think about it, that Porygon's pretty good in this deck specifically.
This is a very weak pet for Apsyy. Like Memory Berry doesn't really do anything. It's the wrong fossil, and then it's just a bunch of Pokemon that
Don't really
care
matter.
about.
Yeah, you just pick whatever. Like, I think I would pick the Muck here because if you're gonna play Armaldo, like that Muck is annoying because it hits your weakness and poisons you. If you want to tank anything, that Muck is not gonna let you. So takes the Heracross. I think basically doesn't matter what he takes. He's not gonna play it.
Yeah. The Heracross is okay. It does 2 for 50 if the defending Pokemon's an EX, so that's pretty efficient.
It's above rate, I guess. It hits a different weakness as well.
Yeah, well, we do already have the camera, so yeah, it's just kind of a nothing pack.
Yeah,
So
this
we've
one doesn't.
got 7 picks after this one.
I think.
Support account's looking good.
Yeah.
Good ball search. We've got recovery. Is there anything else on the checklist that we might be looking for?
A Fluffy Berry or a Floatstone would be good, probably. There's a Lunatone, but I think that ship has sailed. A Rosen's backup can get back that Curse Stone.
Also a Herlon fossil, because I think Apsyy only has 1.
Yeah, I think
But
like he already
are
passed
they-
2 Horn Fossils. I think
Yeah.
that's gone already.
I don't think they're playing Armaldo, but we'll see. Oracle, also very minor synergy.
Oh yeah,
with
camera.
Camera up the X.
He has something to draw, right? He had an item that drew a few cards. I don't remember if like it's a mail from Bill, maybe. No, I remember him taking like some draw item.
Yeah. It's got an Uxie.
He has a Nuxie, yeah.
I think that's about it, though.
Oh, a
terms
bicycle.
of
It was a
draw item.
bicycle.
Bicycle. Okay.
And I do like bicycle, and like if you're playing stage 1 rush, I do like bicycle in that type of deck. He goes for Holland Fossil. I think he might be still thinking about which archetype he's gonna build because like he has a lot of different good cards. So the deck building portion of this is gonna be quite complicated.
I wouldn't be surprised if Apsyy just played the Armaldo EX and not the other Armaldos.
Yeah, me too.
And just tried to, like, he's got Fossil Excavator, Clara, Lure Ball, 3 ways to get it straight back to hand.
True.
And just like Armaldo EX, and AZ, so it's like return Armaldo EX and then attack with Armaldo EX.
Yeah, and use the other guys as just like text for other matchups. That makes sense.
Especially with like the Mewtwo. You can move the energy
Oh!
off your Armaldo to your Anorith. Oh, okay.
Hello there. That changes everything again.
This Armaldo is so good.
Now we're really happy that we got the Holland Fossil. Because for some reason, Fossil Charge can discard Holland Fossil. Not just like Claw Fossils, Mysterious Fossils. You can also discard the Holland Fossil.
Interestingly, would have also been good with download Porygon 2. Because you could download a supporter and then still Delta Edge for 70.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Fossil Charge, 50 to the active, 30 to the bench.
What a good attack.
Good. Janine, what's
yeah, he's out of the Fossil blend. That is gone.
Okay.
Which makes sense. Like, he has a second deck. He can choose to play like full stage 1 or like Armaldo craziness. Which is gonna be really weird when he picks the Claw Fossil now and
yeah, that is just weird, but what does this Azurill do?
It's a very bad searcher.
Okay, it gets a basic energy, or
you search your deck for like something the color of a card you show, I think.
Yeah, you show a basic energy, and then you get a Pokemon of the same type.
Okay, how many Claw Fossils do we have? 2. We have 2 Claw Fossil, 2 Holland Fossil. Yeah, it wheeled. Here he is. Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna wheel. So what was taken here? It was Gardevoir, Cess, not Pow.
Not Jewel Ball either.
Not Jewel. What the fuck? That's weird. Okay, because like I thought this Regirock was that there was a pretty good chance he was gonna wheel because he has most of the fighting stuff. He has all Armaldos and almost all Hariyamas. Not even like the basics past. Like he has the. Oh my god, he's not picking Regirock. Wow.
This is surprising.
Yeah. Maybe he thinks this deck is like camera up and not like fighting, and he's planning around the camera up instead of the Armaldo.
I mean, is he dropping Hariyama and Armaldo? Because I think Regirock's good enough just to play as an attacker.
Yeah, Regirock in this cube is amazing.
Surprising.
I think that's a hate draft of a BTS because the rest of the pack doesn't matter. Because I don't think this is a BTS deck. You can make some stuff out of nowhere, but like if you're playing a rush deck, you don't want your opponent like being able to rush as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So we're not seeing any more unique picks. I don't think there was anything we were trying to wheel except for that Regirock. So I think this is pretty much the draft.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is going to be the final Pokemon lineup?
Okay. So I'm pretty sure he's playing camera up. That's the only thing I can safely say. The rest of the deck, like, some of his picks were, like, so different than what I expected that, like, I thought he was going to for sure go to the Hariyama Delta species because that's one of the best single prize attackers in the cube. Not playing that card almost makes me want to cut the whole fossil stuff and play like stage 1 everything because Cameron's pretty good, Hariyama's pretty good, and now Manectric is like really good if you cut the bad one from I think it was Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire, some of those, and just like play a fast deck. The thing is that like he has so much fossil support that like there's a world where you play the Armaldo deck, but you let so many of your pieces go by that I think if you played that deck, it's gonna like feel weird. And yeah, I think it's gonna be more of a stage 1 deck and less of an Armaldo deck. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if you're playing an Armaldo deck and you've just passed up on probably the second best Armaldo.
Maybe the first. There's a world.
And if it's better. Yeah, I mean, Card's really good. I mean, with AZ and Mr. Brinies, I am surprised that we're not leaning to Armaldo more.
Yeah, a tanky Armaldo deck would have been crazy good. But here we are. We are picking...
Yeah, maybe trying to lean into that Rayquaza EX a bit more like a fire lightning route.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe you don't even see any fighting stuff. Like it could just be Camerupt, Manectric.
True, yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to play the Curse Stone as well. But like then you don't even have stadiums, right? Because all of your stadiums are either fossil or power hate.
True.
And like you have fossil excavators. I don't know. Like we'll have to see because we're gonna watch the game. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's probably, I hope I uploaded everything. Games of this, the rewind, and yeah. Please be sure to watch the rest of the tournament. And anything else you want to speak about the stack call?
No, it's been a good deck, good draft. Always fun commentating with you, Davy. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is us. That's it for the rewind draft number 1, the Slowercube, and we'll see y'all later.